Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First tonight, police have made a tragic discovery in the search for 3 people missing after they failed to return from a boating trip on Monday night. Brianna Thomas, Isaiah Dixon and Thomas Corto were last seen leaving Boat Harbour on board the vessel. Our reporter Elizabeth O'Neill is in Wynyard. Lizzie, it wasn't the news we wanted to hear.
No, Kim, it wasn't. Police confirmed this afternoon they had found the bodies of a man and a woman at Table Cape after searching the area in a helicopter. It's unclear if the three friends were wearing life jackets, and there's still no sign of the boat they were on board. A second man is still missing, but police haven't given up hope he's alive.
We always hold hope that we are going to find people alive, and that's what we'll continue to do. So that's what our aim was, and we searched for that outcome. But unfortunately today that didn't resolve.
It's unclear how the man and woman died. Search efforts have been difficult, with high winds and dangerous swells hampering authorities. The search for the man will continue, with resuming tomorrow morning at first light. Kim?
Well, Tasmania has hit a new vaccination milestone. 70% of over 16s now double dosed. Businesses in the south of the state are still focused on the recovery from the weekend snap lockdown. The government unveiling a financial assistance package to help with the effort.
Lupin Food and Wine has been open for just 4 weeks, plunged into lockdown over the weekend along with the rest of the south, opening tonight in an attempt to make up the lost revenue.
We were really lucky in this business because I've got a lot of smoked meats and stuff like that which keep a little bit better. We did lose out on some functions and stuff like that.
A support package now on the way.
The snap 3-day lockdown, whilst short, was not easy for business.
$1,000 for businesses forced to shut their doors, $750 for those only partially closed, and up to $10,000 for lost perishable goods.
I think it just gives a bit of leeway to be able to afford to move forward and and not just keep on drowning.
It comes as the state's vaccination program reaches a milestone, 70% of Tasmanians over 16 fully vaccinated.
If we can just get 25,000 more 16 plus Tasmanians to get their first jab, we'll be at 90%.
Peter Gutwin emphasising he wants to see more than 90% double dosed, preparing to release his border reopening plan on Friday with a warning for what happens when they do.
It will be, though, a pandemic of the unvaccinated.
The deadline quickly approaching for healthcare workers to get the jab, an estimated 87% now vaccinated.
On 30 October, you will no longer be paid. And I will be pursuing termination action on and from 31 October for each and every individual case.
But the nursing union wants a plan for what happens if a large number of critical staff are removed from the sector.
So we can allay our members' concerns about what workloads might look like come 1 November if we lose nurses and midwives from the healthcare workforce.
A workforce already under pressure. Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
A review into the state's management of hotel quarantine is hoping to provide answers about how Tim Gunn escaped the Hobart Travelodge last week. His exclusive interview now forming part of the police investigation.
According to Tim Gunn, all it took to escape hotel quarantine was walking out of his hotel room past an unsuspecting security guard.
Not directly outside my door, but they were in the hallway and that, but they didn't chase me or anything like that. They seen me.
That's one option being considered as part of an investigation into the quarantine breach, with police today revealing security guards don't have the power to hold someone hostage.
Security guards are not expected to grapple with people seeking to leave a hotel facility. They're there as a general deterrence, and there are clear protocols that if there was someone seeking to leave, that they refer those matters to Tasmania Police.
The domestic quarantine program is based on travellers classified as lower risk, but a review into the current system is examining whether security guards are fully equipped to manage people in quarantine.
The risk assessment supports security guards being in those facilities. As part of our review of this particular incident, we'll certainly consider who should be providing security to uncooperative and higher-risk travellers.
The 31-year-old is seeking forgiveness for causing the southern lockdown over the weekend, but that's fallen on deaf ears.
The public can make what they will of the information that's been put into the public by the person who spoke on television last night.
Last night's exclusive interview with Tim Gunn is now forming part of the police investigation as authorities try to piece together just how he managed to escape quarantine and seek answers to the many claims he's made so far as he continues to be uncooperative.
It's not appropriate that I go into the information and the comments that have been made by the positive case. This is now evidence, and we'll consider that in the context of the police investigation.
Mr Gunn maintains he's done the right thing by police all along.
They didn't chase me around. When they found me, I didn't resist. I didn't carry on. I didn't do anything. I simply went with them and did what I was told.
Among the 13,500 Tasmanians who have entered the state's quarantine system, there have only been 2 breaches. Ainsley Kosh, 7 Tasmania News.
Meanwhile, though, a 65-year-old man has been fined $1,500 for failing to comply with home quarantine rules after he arrived from New South Wales last week. The man was authorised for hotel quarantine, but after returning a negative COVID test was moved to his home. But when police completed a compliance check, they realised the man had tradespeople at his home. He was then taken back to hotel quarantine, where he will complete the remainder of the 14-day period. Authorities are investigating a fire that destroyed a unit in East Devonport this afternoon. Firefighters and police were called to the Wright Street property around 2 o'clock. A smoke alert was issued and the street was closed for some time. Those inside the residence evacuated safely. Proposed changes to TAFE will trigger a loss in quality training and send student costs soaring, according to Labor. It claims the state government's reforms to TAFE will also result in less flexibility for staff and apprentices. Teachers say consultation with the sector has been rushed.
These are the biggest changes to TAFE since the last reforms.
My sort of philosophy is if it isn't broke, don't fix. TAFE has been great and still is great.
The state government has labelled Labor's attack a scare campaign and says the changes will benefit TAFE. The 200th Royal Hobart Show was meant to kick off today, but after a last-minute delay, organisers say they are now on track to welcome guests back tomorrow. There'll be plenty to see and do for all ages, with loads of show bags and entertainment on offer.
Been a pretty hectic couple of days, but we're really just polishing it at the moment, making sure it's going to look good for tomorrow. Stage is just getting the final touches put to it, and we'll be all systems go.
A production has been commissioned to commemorate the show's 200th year. Argyle Street remains Hobart's worst crash hotspot, according to new data. It's the second year in a row the street has taken the title. AB Insurance says car parking incidents account for more than 40% of the crashes. Macquarie Street and Sandy Bay Road were second and third on the list. A very small creature is creating some big waves on Flinders Island. The new Holland Mouse was believed to be on the verge of extinction in Tasmania, but it's now been spotted for the first time in 17 years. The nocturnal rodent was captured as it walked in front of a remote camera to sniff a stick coated in peanut butter. The cameras have been set up across northeast Tasmania as part of a conservation study into the species. There were sirens and squills at Longford Primary School today as a unique collection of eye-catching cars rolled in for Variety's Tasbash. The lockdown cut the annual convoy short, but the year-long fundraising efforts have provided one family with a life-changing donation.
A rolling procession of the weird and wacky. 15 cars modded and moulded into a motley crew of children's favourites, from Thomas to Puff and Blinky Bill.
And the theme of the car is disco, so all things disco, as you can see.
The engines were meant to fire up last Saturday, but the lockdown and COVID restrictions meant Variety's annual Tasbash had to be slashed to just 3 days.
Tasbash itself is a celebration of 12 months of fundraising.
Longford Primary School, the first stop. The Oval, a zoo of costumes, kids and...
Well, the birds are probably our biggest passion.
The joy, the laughter and the squeals of delight when the cars came in was amazing.
The fundraising spoils split among some lucky Tasmanian schools. Longford's wish list was not new playground equipment or classroom supplies, but to help a local family in need.
Seeing what the funds are doing here today at Longford, it's just sensational.
Twins Tristan and Lucas Barnes both live with muscular dystrophy, meaning the brothers will soon require a wheelchair and an accessible car. Today, Variety handed over a cheque of $10,000. Mum Emma overwhelmed with emotion.
She's so grateful that it'll help the family so tremendously, and it's just wonderful.
The boys probably don't realise now, but their new set of wheels will be much more special than any on show here. Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
We have a game on our hands in the Sheffield Shield, which is fast becoming at the mercy of the weather gods. Tasmania is closing in on victory in the final hours of the match against Western Australia in Perth. Caleb Jewell made a half-century for the Tigers after they bowled out Western Australia for 230 in the second innings. Tasmania is at 2 for 86 and needs 131 runs to win. Play has only just resumed after a rain delay. Tasmania's state hockey team will miss out on a year on the field with the nationwide Hockey 1 season scrapped. Ever-changing border controls between states are again the cause. The Tassie Tigers men's team won a bronze medal in the first Hockey 1 season in 2019. And the fight to return to the ring has almost gone the distance, with Tasmanian boxers once again strapping on the gloves. Launceston's Leighton McFerrin is among those preparing for the first professional card in the state since March. Even in normal times, fights can be few and far between. Big build-ups and anxious anticipation are all part of the appeal. But with much of the eastern states closed off again this year, Leighton McFerrin has had to sit tight and stay focused for a bout bubbling away for months.
It's very demotivating, is the word, I guess, because, you know, we come in here, we train every day, but then we've got nothing to look forward to. At
last, he does. McFerrin's preparing to go toe-to-toe with Townsville's Alan Patterson, and he's gone up a weight division from super featherweight to lightweight.
I try to get a peak performance all year round, no matter if I've got a fight coming up or a fight in 2 days.
Still agile as ever, the pugilist now weighs around 61 kilos. Training has stayed the same, although he's allowed himself a few more luxuries.
I get to eat more. Don't have to cut as much weight so I don't get as drained leading up to the fight.
His fight at Havoc at the Hall will be Tasmania's first professional card since March. His coach believes McFerrin's focus since then hasn't wavered and he'll be sharp come showtime.
It's 90% mental, I reckon, if you ask any elite athlete at that, you know, at the top end of their sport, that, yeah, the mental game's nearly bigger than the physical game. So if your head's in it, you're pretty well right.
The action is at Hobart City Hall next Saturday night, October 30.
Good evening. Temperatures ranged from -3 on Mount Wellington today to our high of 20 at Strawn, Hobart and Burnie 15, Launceston 18, Devonport 16. Temperatures above average over the west and southwest, Bushy Park 18, both King and Flinders 17, Smithton, Friendly Beaches and Grove 16, Low Head and St Helens recorded 15. Low level cloud banked up against the east coast today, mostly sunny conditions over the west, partly cloudy for the northwest and southeast. More cloud along the east of the continent. A frontal band is crossing South Australia as a low level cloud band directed over WA moves in as well. Tomorrow a trough moves over the eastern states, pushed along by a front over the Southern Ocean. The high moves off and another trough slices through northern parts. Winds northeasterly 15 to 25 knots, increasing to 35 knots over the northwest and generally to 30 knots over remaining waters later. We have a gale warning, that's for waters between Sandy Cape and Stanley, a strong wind warning from Wyglass Bay to Sandy Cape, and a minor flood warning for the Macquarie River has been issued. And the forecast for show day in Hobart, pretty good, 9 overnight, 24 and mostly sunny. Cygnet sunny as well and 25 the top for New Norfolk. Launceston a high tomorrow of 21 degrees with a shower or two. Showers also for Devonport with 17, partly cloudy and 22 for Campbelltown. Burnie expecting a high of 17 with a shower, partly cloudy for Strawn, 24 the maximum, 18 the top for Smithton with a possible shower and 18 for St Helens, a shower or two there. Fairly clear over Swansea, partly cloudy though and 20 and 19 the top for Fingal. UV 7 for all centres, which is high. Showers over the west and north on Friday, extending statewide in the late afternoon. Showers into the weekend, easing from the northwest in the evening, and showers on Sunday, more frequent over the south with south to southwesterly winds. A shower or two in Perth tomorrow, a sunny 23 in Adelaide, partly cloudy in Melbourne, showers forecast for Canberra and Sydney, and a possible storm in Brisbane. And partly conditions around the state at the moment. 13 degrees in Hobart, 14 right now in Launceston and Devonport. That's the way it's shaping up for the Royal Hobart Show. Kim, one thing you didn't know though, my uncle used to run the shows at Sideshow Alley before he got the sack, but he is suing for funfair dismissal.
He's back, and that is your news for now. We'll be back later with news breaks. For now, good night.